begin with one hand over your heart center, one plugging into the ground. Bring your chin inwards here as your eyes close or partially close. And just begin to shift your awareness inwards. Noticing the sensation of breathing all the way down to your root chakra. And of exhaling fully. Let yourself sit with this breath awareness, observing your breath come in and down. And observing your breath leave your body. Let's begin to find a light constriction in the throat as you breathe, that ujjayi breath, just a little tightening of the glottis so that your exhale has the sound of waves. And this action is a good way to naturally begin to slow your breath and to shift your mind and body into a meditative state. Good. Let's begin here to connect with your intention today for your practice. Intention could be as simple as keeping a mindful awareness throughout your practice. Might be working out a specific muscle. Might just be this idea of coming to your mat to let the practice stand for itself. As you find your intention, let's release your hands from the ground and your heart and bring them towards each other in Anjali Mudra. And we'll take the sound of Om to support your intention, to support the intentions of those with whom we practice. Feel free to listen or to join in. Om. And with your next exhale, release your hands down. Let your eyes begin to open, your chin begin to lift as we come back here to this space. And here I'll invite you to mute. Here we'll mute ourselves as we dive into the practice. And I'll also invite you to grab a box of tissues if you're feeling a little stuffy this morning, because we're going to begin with a breath of fire practice. This is also a practice that's really going to cleanse anything that's hanging out in your nasal cavity. So feel free to grab a box of tissues if you need one. Good. So our breath of fire, this practice is a really nice way to activate the immune system. We're giving the deepest of our lymph nodes a really nice massage as we practice this breath. We're also helping expel air, stagnant air that could be sitting in the bottom of the lungs. It's not recommended if you tend towards anxiety attacks. If you're growing a child, it's not recommended because it does increase the temperature of the body. So as we come to our breath of fire, lower body can be in any comfortable position, so seated, kneeling, cross-legged. We're going to begin with our hands just beneath the belly button. So just beneath the belly button in the low abdomen. Roll your shoulders back here. Bring your spine nice and long. Take an inhale through your nose. And as you exhale, press your belly inwards. Press the air out of your nose. So it's inhale, exhale. Bringing the belly sharply inwards. Good. Hands are there not to press the belly, but just to be aware of that muscular contraction. So that's a single pump. With our breath of fire, we're going to be doing several short pumps. The emphasis will be on that exhalation of air out through the nose. So it looks like this. Right, so it's several short pumps. The inhalation, even though we're not focusing on it, is a natural occurrence after we exhale. So the inhalation is happening. This is your first time practicing breath of fire. You might not stay for as long as we practice. You might do a little bit, and then you might release the breath, let your breath come to normal, and then join back in. Just let yourself be patient with yourself if it's your first time practicing. So hands in the low belly, eyes closed, spine long. Take a nice inhale here. Full exhale. And the next inhale will begin. Good, big inhale here. Retain your breath in, squeeze your muscles inward. Exhale with a sigh through your mouth. And we'll prepare for round 2, Kapalabhati, Sanskrit word, English breath of fire. Nice big inhale and begin. Good, big inhale. Hold your breath inwards here. Squeeze your muscles to the midline. And exhale, releasing here. Good. Full breath in. Full breath out. And we'll do our final round, Kapalabhati here. So you can do as we've been doing, which is hands on the low belly, or for this round, we can inhale the arms upwards, interlacing all but the pointer finger to press up towards the ceiling. Keep your shoulders softening away from your ears. And as you're ready, we'll inhale and begin our final round, breath of fire. Good, inhale here. Hold that inhale, squeeze your muscles inward. Exhale with a sigh. Good, give your shoulders a nice little roll, releasing that tension. We'll roll in the opposite direction. So if you feel invigorated after that, this might be a practice that you work into your everyday. A lot of committed yogis will do this first thing in the morning when they wake up, keeps their immune system active and moving the lymph fluids throughout your body. If not, don't sweat it. It doesn't have to be your thing. Let's bring ourselves to a child's pose. As you come to child's pose, you could have your knees touching, or you could separate your knees the width of your mat. Invite your hips to your heels, arms long. Head here, resting down. So resting on the ground if you come there easily, maybe on a little block or folded blanket if the ground is a little low. And with your head down, just roll your head from side to side, giving that top forehead area a nice little massage. Breathe deeply here. Let your body relax into this shape and let your breath move throughout your body. From here, keep your head down, but begin to press into your fingertips so that your arms activate and lift away from the ground. Begin to walk your fingertips off the right side of your mat. Keep your left hip pressing towards your left heel. Let your head also move off center. So head also is reaching towards the right, still resting the top of your head down here. So if there's something beneath your head when you're center, just bring that with you so you still have that support as we come into a twisting version of our child's pose. And you might stay here with your wrists side by side, or you might cross your left wrist over your right, rotate your gaze looking out underneath your long left arm. Breathe here. And here, if wrists are crossed, let's uncross the wrists. Walk your wrists through center off the left side of your mat. And as we come off the left side of your mat, let your head also come left. Maybe keeping your wrists here side by side, maybe crossing the inner arm over the outer and rotating your gaze out to look underneath. And we'll uncross here. Walk your hands back through center. As you return to center, press into your palms. Lift yourself up into a tabletop position, walking knees inwards if they're not already, centered beneath your hips. Good. Spread your fingers away from each other. Grip the mat with your finger pads. Curl your 10 toes under, and on an inhale, bring your hips up and back, coming here into the shape of our downward facing dog. Let yourself be wiggly here as you come to maybe your first downward dog of the day. Give yourself that action of walking the dog, bending, straightening, opposite knees inward. Let those hips be wiggly, even move into the shoulders if that feels good for you. Just allowing your body these movements that will let you begin to open naturally into the shape of Adho Mukha Svanasana. Nice long spine. Let your awareness move throughout your body here. Noticing the reaction of your body to this shape. And we'll begin to peel the gaze upwards, the heels upwards, and walk your toes forward, finding that top line of your yoga mat, coming here to our standing forward fold. Here, knees as bent as they need to be. Take a half rise, gaze down, spine long. Draw your belly and let yourself come deeper into this shape. Uttanasana. Breathe here. Shake your head from side to side. Nodding your chin in and out. Take an inhale, bring both hands to your hips, roll your shoulders open, use your exhale, rise here. As you rise, stretch your fingertips up to the sky. Exhale, bring both hands towards each other, heart center. Nice inhale here, reaching up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, lead with your heart as you pour yourself forward into your Uttanasana, standing forward fold. Find that half lift, fingertips to your knees or the ground. Exhale, fold inwards, big step back with your right heel. Lower your right knee down to the ground here. Plant your right hand either on a block or on the ground beneath the right shoulder. And we'll inhale, left fingertips reach upward. Exhale, bring your left hand to your heart, gaze circles down. So we're inhaling here, opening towards that front knee. Exhale, drawing inwards, looking down. Move here with your breath. Good. The next time you find yourself looking downwards here, let's pause here. Release your left hand on the inner edge of your left foot. So you might, to accommodate that, shift your left foot towards the outer line of your yoga mat. Option is stay here, arms long, or if you're working with blocks here, you might soften your elbows down to any height of your blocks. So you might be tall, medium, or in your shortest height. Might bring the elbows to the ground, or again, you might choose to stay arms long here. Here, just breathing into the hip, breathing into the area of strongest sensation that you encounter in your body. And as you breathe into the area of the intensity of the stretch here, that strongest sensation, seek to find if there's ways to allow your breath to move around that sensation. Move over, under, or even through that area of strongest sensation. And so stretching the body here, but deeply aware of how our breath moves as we're in this shape. Good. And on an inhale, if you've taken any variation other than palms to the ground, let's again bring palms to the ground, arms long. Walk your front foot in between your hands. Curl your back toes under, press your back knee up and away from the ground. On an inhale, step your front foot backwards, coming here to our plank pose. Press back through your heels, forward through your crown. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, lower knees, chin, chest down to the ground. Then release the weight of your body here. Stretch your toes backwards. Roll your shoulders backwards. Draw your chin in. From here, keep the back toes pressing down as you peel your heart upwards, allowing here for your back muscles, more than your hands, to do the work of pressing up into Cobra. Keep that nice space between your shoulders and your ears as you stretch away from the toe points down. Exhale, soften your heart. Bring yourself through that tabletop position and back into our downward dog, Adho Mukha Svanasana here. Hips up and back, neck long, head heavy. Breathing into this shape. Nice inhale here. Exhale fully. Next inhale, lift your gaze towards your fingertips. Walk your feet forward, finding the shape of your forward fold. Take your half rise here, Ardha Uttanasana. Then exhale, soften in. Bring your hands to your hips on an inhale. Roll your shoulders open and press into your feet. Rise up here. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, bring your hands towards each other, heart center. Nice big inhale, reaching for the sky. Exhale, lengthen forward, lower down, Uttanasana here. Find your half rise, Ardha Uttanasana. Then exhale, soften in, step back, left toes. Left knee lands here onto the ground. Good, might uncurl your left toes, might keep them curled under for stability. Let your left palm come to the ground beneath your shoulder or lift it up on a block. Stretch your right fingertips up here as you twist towards your front knee. Big inhale, fill up here. Exhale, bring your hands to your heart, gaze down. Inhale, stretch that right hand up to the ceiling. Exhale, draw your palm inwards, drop your gaze down, moving here with your breath. Good. One more time. Inhaling, stretching up. Exhale, bringing your gaze down, and then we'll bring the right hand down on the inner edge of the right foot. Walk your foot towards the outer edge of your mat as you set up for our second side lizard pose. So before we drop the elbows down, if we're doing that, first check in here with your hips, noticing if this space will serve you, this shape of the body will serve you, or if you do want to go deeper and if you have your blocks handy, go ahead, grab those, and giving yourself any height of blocks or bringing your elbows down to the floor. And whichever shape we choose on this side for our lizard pose, do ensure that your breath is able to move freely through your body. That hitching or holding of the breath is one of the first signs that our body gives us when we've gone too far. Good, big inhale here. Use your exhale to begin to bring the palms of your hands down. Walk your front foot in between your hands. If those left toes are not curled under, curl the left toes under here and press your knee away from the ground. Then step your front foot backwards here, coming to that Balakasana, head, heart, hip alignment of your plank pose. Big inhale here. Exhale, let's lower 8 points to the ground. So knees, chin, chest down. Then release the weight of your body here. Stretch your toes backwards. Roll your shoulders backwards. Lift your heart up here into our cobra. So here, if it feels good in your spine, inviting the hands as well as the back body to do some of this work of lifting up. Big breath inwards. Exhale, lowering down. Bring yourself through your tabletop position and up into your downward dog here, Adho Mukha Svanasana. Steady breath here. Good, big inhale, lift your gaze, lift your heels, use your exhale, walk your toes forward towards that top line of your yoga mat. Take your half lift, Ardha Uttanasana here. Then exhale, soften in. Invite both hands to your hips, both elbows point upwards. Use your exhale, rising to your Tadasana. Inhale, stretching to the sky. Exhale, bring your palms together, heart center here. Good, take your blocks now, if you're working with them, and again, it's not necessary, but if you have one, set one of your blocks on the left side of your body. One of your blocks on the left side. Separate your feet here if they're not already, hips width distance apart. Bring your hands to your hips. Lift your toes away from the ground. Drop your gaze down. As you spread your toes away from each other, press down into the balls of your foot beneath your pinky and your big toes. Keep your toes lifted as you press equally through the inner and the outer heel. Keep your toes lifted as you imagine lifting your arch, the arches of both feet up into the body. Keep this active foot as you lower your toes down. Good, so the left foot is going to stay nice and active here, pressing equally through the four corners. Lift your right heel upwards. Begin to bend lightly into the left knee. So little bend into the left knee, just enough to make a little ledge that will swing that right leg over. The right leg swings over. You can plug the right toes down into the block. Extend your fingertips away from each other. Rotate your palms facing upwards. Squeeze your shoulder blades towards each other on your back body. Nice big inhale here. As you exhale, cross left elbow over right. Bend at the elbows. Keep the elbows stacked over each other and keep the space between the chest and elbows. You don't want the elbows down on the chest. Want a nice lift here. Good. Might stay here grabbing for the shoulders. If you can bring the backs of your hands together without losing that connection, elbow over elbow, you might do that. Might choose to rotate the arms once more, drawing the palms towards each other, coming here into our eagle pose. Option to stay here using this block for balance, or kick that block out of the way, bend more deeply into your standing leg. Might stay here, might bend even more deeply into your standing leg and hook the right toes behind the left shin. Good. Breathing here. Unhook those right toes or plug the right toes back into the ground if they're not there already, or into your block. Lift your fingertips up. Exhale here, hinge at your hips. Let the weight of your arms draw you down into our hunting eagle. Big inhale here. Exhale, let's unwind the arms, lift your body upwards, unwind your legs. Step your feet out wide. Take that block, bring it to the center of your wide-legged stance. Might rotate here to face the long line of your mat. Bring your hands back to your hips. Find that action again of lifting and spreading the toes away from each other. With your toes lifted up, find that action of pressing equally through the four corners of each foot. Imagine drawing your arches upwards and soften your toes down. Keep this firm connection of both feet to the ground as you stretch your arms out and up. Exhale here, hinge at your hips. Bring your hands down to your block at any height. It could be tall, medium, short. You might even choose not to use the block here. With your hands down on your block, roll your shoulders more firmly onto your spine. Bring your spine parallel to the ground, chin drawing in. Keep those nice active feet. Draw the inner edges of your thighs backwards towards the wall behind you. Extend forward through the crown of your head. Nice big inhale here. Exhale, hold the shape, draw your belly button up and in towards your spine. Good, keep your left hand down, bring your right hand to your right hip, elbow pointing to the sky. Use an inhale here, lengthen into your spine, gazes down, crown of your head stretches forward, tailbone stretches backwards. Big inhale, exhale, rotate heart and gaze to the right, looking in that same direction as the right hand on the right hip. Inhale here, find that length in your spine, get long. Exhale, might stay here, might extend the right fingertips up to the ceiling, breathing here. If you take that stretch upwards and you feel a pinching or a burning in the right shoulder, just bring that right hand right back down to your hip. Breathing deeply. Good, big inhale here, holding for the exhale. Use an inhale to bring that right hand back down to your block if you're using it, floor if you're not. Bend into your right knee. Walk your hands or hands and block over towards that right knee. Keep your left leg long. Sink your hips down towards the right heel. Yeah, coming towards our Skandasana. Might stay here, both hands down on your block or on the ground. Those left toes might stay down, pointing forward, same direction as your right knee, or you might spin onto the left heel, pointing those toes up to the sky. There's no right or wrong here. It's really going to be what move, what stretch serves you in this moment. You might stay here, both hands down, or you might plant your right hand here onto a block or onto the floor, peeling the left fingertips up to the sky. Breathing deeply wherever we are. Always moving in such a way to invite more flow of energy and prana within the body. Always wanting to avoid pain, so avoiding electrical or pinching. Sometimes moving into the sensation of deeper stretch, sometimes that ache of a body that hasn't been stretched in this way. So moving towards that, away from pain. And using a breath to distinguish. Big inhale here, holding for the exhale. Let's inhale, bring both hands down. Straighten into your right leg, walk yourself back towards center. Take that block with you if you're using it. Step or hop your heels towards each other here. Take a half lift of an inhale. Draw inwards as you exhale, coming into the shape of your forward fold. Take that block now, settle it on the outer edge of your right foot. Bring both hands to your hips, both elbows pointing up. Use an exhale, rise up, find your Tadasana. Good, inhale, stretching for the sky. Exhale, bring your hands to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Soften both hands to your hips, roll your shoulders open. Drop your gaze down towards your toes. Good, finding our yogi foot lock, yogi padabandha. Lift and spread your toes. Keep spreading your toes wide as you press through the balls of your feet underneath your pinky and your big toes. Keep your toes spreading wide as you press equally through your inner and outer heel. And then find that action of drawing the arches inwards. Might just be imagination and intention. Soften the toes to the ground. Keep that nice active yogi padabandha feet. This time the right foot is our supporter. Lift that left heel away from the ground. Find a light bend into your right knee. Swing the left toes over to plug into your waiting block or the ground if you don't have a block. Inhale, extend your fingertips away from each other. Rotate your palms to face upwards. Draw your shoulder blades towards each other on your back body. Good, crossing elbow over elbow. This time, opposite elbow is going to come on top. So we've got left leg crossing, right elbow on top, unless you did opposite last time, that's okay. Keep your elbows lifted as you reach backwards for the shoulders. So this is our step one, or option one for our eagle pose. Might stay here. If you can keep that nice connection elbow to elbow as you draw the back or the palms of your hands together, go ahead and do that. More important than bringing the palms towards each other is that connection elbow to elbow and keeping those elbows lifted upwards, not softening down. You should feel this in the shoulders. Good, bring some awareness to your neck. Neck in alignment with the spine. Keep your chin parallel to the ground. Might stay here using that support of the block or floor beneath the toes, or might bend more deeply into your right knee. Kick that block out of the way if you're using it. Might float the left toes upwards, or might bend so deeply into the right knee that the left toes can hook behind the right shin. Breathing steadily. Inhale here. Let's exhale, plug the left toes down if they're not already. Use your inhale, lift your elbows up, lift your gaze up. Hinge at your hips as you exhale, coming into our hunting Garuda. Breathing here. Good, at an inhale, let's unwind your arms, unwind your legs, lift your torso upwards, step it out into a wide leg forward fold. Wide leg forward shape, I should say. And we'll start by bringing that block towards center if we're working with it. Good, start hands to hips, active feet. So finding again that yogi padabandha on both feet. Specifically, we're lifting here up on the inner ankles, pressing actively through the outer edges of both feet. Take a big open inhale, yogi star pose. Exhale, lengthen your spine long, bring both hands down here to any height if you're working with blocks. Any height or to the ground. Wherever we are, we want the spine parallel, not rounded. So give yourself, if you're working with blocks, enough height so that your spine is parallel to the ground, not curving inward. Walk your hands directly beneath your shoulders. Stretch both hip points backwards. Extend both shoulder points and the crown of your head forward. Big inhale here. Exhale, draw your low belly in. So it should feel as cinching inwards in the lumbar spine, low abdomen. Inhale here, get long. Plant the right hand underneath your nose. Exhale, send your left hand to your left hip, elbow pointing up. Inhale here, get long. Exhale, rotate gaze and heart to the left. Might stay here, hand on hip, or might take that option to stretch the fingertips to the sky. Breathe deep. Big inhale here. Holding for the exhale. Let it be an inhale that lowers your lifted hand. An exhale that walks both hands now towards the left knee, bending into the left knee, sending your hips down towards your left heel. Take that block with you if you're using it. Good. Might stay here, both hands down. Might take one of those two variations with the right toes, either toes forward or rotating onto the right heel, toes pointing up to the ceiling. And again, both hands might stay down or might plant your left hand on the floor or on a block to inhale the right fingertips now towards the sky. That means heart and gaze is going to rotate towards that right long leg. Breathing here, Skandasana. Good. Next inhale, lower that lifted hand. Bring yourself back towards center. Two long legs, hands beneath the shoulders. Option is step or to hop your heels towards each other, bringing yourself back into your Uttanasana. Take your half lift here. Then exhale, soften inward. Spine here long, knees as bent as they need to be to keep that tugging and pulling sensation out from the knee joint. So bend those knees as much as you need to. Keep your neck long, head heavy here. Inhale, both hands to your hips. Roll your shoulders open. And exhale, rise here. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, bring your palms towards each other. Good. And if we're facing the long side of our mat, option to come back facing forward. Keep that block handy. May or may not want it for the next posture that we're doing. Good. Separate your feet slightly wider than your hips, not quite as wide as we do for our wide-legged forward fold. Take a nice inhale, extend your fingers to the sky. Exhale here, bring your hands to heart center, drop your weight into your hips and your heels, coming here into our yogi squat. Good, so we've got the block here. If you need an extra seat, you can give yourself that underneath the feet. Nestle your elbows on the inner edges of your knees. Roll your shoulders open here. Peel your heart upwards. Nice breath. Inhale and exhale. Good. Let's release the left hand down, left hand pressing into the ground. Reach your left hand towards the left. Keep that connection between the knee and the upper arm. Stretch your right fingertips here up to the sky. Breathing here. Good. Let's inhale. Bring it back to center. Right elbow nestles in the inner edge of that right knee. Both hands draw towards each other. And let's take the opposite side. So right hand reaches down and out to the right, keeping that arm on the inner edge of your right knee. Left fingertips here, stretching up to the sky. And inhale here, bring it back to center. Good. If you have a block beneath your seat, go ahead, scoot that block out of your way. Bring both hands to the ground, fingertips down, hips lift as you inhale. Heel toe your feet towards each other. Take that half rise, that Ardha Uttanasana. Stretch your head forward, stretch your sit bones backwards. Then exhale, draw in. Inhale, both hands to your hips, shoulders roll open. Use your exhale, rise up here. Inhale, stretch upwards. Exhale, bring your hands towards each other, heart center here. Good, hands find your hips. Feet separate wider than your hips. Take a nice inhale here, stretch upwards. Exhale, bring yourself back into the shape of our Malasana, yogi squat. Good, take that block beneath your seat if you need it. So we'll have the option to do just what we did, or we have the option to play with the bind. So I'll be demoing the bind. If that doesn't work for you and you want to keep your fingertips apart like we did a moment ago, feel free to do that. So we'll begin. Left hand down. Left hand is going to reach actively out to the left. Right hand is going to come to the right hip. Roll your right shoulder open. Lean your weight to the left. Good. Send that right hand behind your back now. Palm of your hand facing the wall behind you. With your left arm, keep your knee on the outer edge of your upper left arm. Lift your left hand away from the ground. Rotate that hand backwards and reach the hands towards each other behind the back body. If your fingers connect, interlace your hands here. If they don't, and for some of us they won't, keep that left hand down, pressing into the ground. Keep the right hand behind your back. Focus on opening your heart here, keeping that top shoulder open, gaze up towards the ceiling, weight weighted towards that left side of your body. That's how we'll move towards that bind with our practice. Breathe here, wherever you are. Releasing that bind if you have it. Use an inhale, bring yourself back to center, back into our Malasana. Full yogi breath here.
How does she do that?
And we'll take the second side. So pressing the right hand down, keeping the right arm long, leaning into the right side body as your left hand comes to your left hip. Roll that left shoulder open, gaze lifts here. Good, begin to slide the left hand behind your back body towards the right hip. Right hand is going to leave the ground, rotate palm up without losing that knee on the outer edge of the right arm. Maybe the hands can reach back towards each other and join. If the hands don't join, we're going to still lean into that long right arm, roll the top shoulder open, keep the weight leaning towards the right. And over time, this will create the openness that we need to bind in our Malasana. And inhale here, bring yourself back, unwinding, back to center. If you have a block beneath your seat, scoot that out of your way. Bring your feet fully to the ground, extend your legs long in front of you. Lean your weight back into your hands, bounce into your heels and knees. Rotate into your ankles. Good, heel toe, alternate pointing, flexing here. Good, let's bring ourselves to a kneeling, sorry, not a kneeling position. Bend into your knees, bring your heels to the ground, yeah. Good, we're gonna reach beneath the right knee, grab for the left ankle, bring that left heel by the right hip. Good, right knee could come directly inward, or you might take the option to cross. Keep the right sole of your foot down, right knee pointing to the sky. So option to cross, we don't need to cross if that doesn't serve you today. Good, bring both hands in front of the right knee. Roll your shoulders backwards. Close your eyes here. Feel into the length of your spine. Bottom of your chin parallel to the ground. Ears centered over shoulders. Shoulders centered over your hip bones. Good. Keep the right knee hugging in now with the left hand. Inhale, stretch your right fingertips up towards the ceiling. Exhale, rotate to the right. Bring that right hand behind your body. Left elbow is going to come on the inner edge of that right knee. Outer edge, excuse me. Outer edge of the right knee. So maybe keeping those left fingertips pointing up to the sky. Gaze is back over the right shoulder. Option to stay here or lengthen the left fingertips long. Press the left fingertips into the ground. Take that right hand behind your body. Maybe staying here, left fingertips pointing down. Maybe scooting that left hand underneath the right knee, reaching through and joining the hands here. And just like before, if you don't have the bind, keep those left fingertips in the ground. Keep focusing on the opening. And with consistent practice, that bind comes. Find your breath wherever you are. And then an inhale, let's bring it back to center, unwinding. Unwinding back to center, releasing both knees upwards. Roll your shoulders open, lift your heart here. And let's reach beneath the left knee, grab for the right ankle, draw the right heel by your left hip. Left heel could come directly inwards or could cross over your lower leg, bringing the sole of your left foot down to the ground. Keep the knee pointing up to the ceiling. Bring both hands interlaced just on the left shin. Roll your shoulders backwards. Close your eyes. Breathe into the length and the strength of your spine. Let's let the eyes open. Keep holding the left knee in with the right hand. Sweep your left fingertips up. Big inhale. Exhale, rotate towards your lifted knee. Gaze over the left shoulder. Bring your right elbow now to the outer edge of that left knee, fingers pointing upwards. Maybe the hand comes to this Gyan Mudra, bringing thumb to forefinger. Option to stay here or lengthen those right fingertips long, pressing into the ground. Maybe taking that bind, snaking the left arm back. Right arm is going to reach through that little space left underneath the knee. Breathing wherever we are. Big inhale, bring yourself back to center, releasing that bind if you have it. Uncrossing knee from knee. Coming back to both knees pointing upwards, reach your hands backwards, lean into your hands. Let the soles of the feet come together as your knees open away from each other, coming into the shape of our butterfly. Good, lean into your hands, arch your low back inwards, press your heart upwards, breathe here. Option to stay here or press into your hands, lift your hips up, draw the hips closer to your heels, and then reach forward, take a hold of your toes. Nice big inhale here. Pull your low belly in, draw the low back in, lift your gaze. Exhale, hinge at your hips, lengthen long forward. Coming into our Baddha Konasana, our butterfly or cobbler pose. Breathe deeply. Big inhale here. Exhale, holding this shape. Use your inhale, begin to press your body upwards, lifting your torso. Flip your hands beneath your knees and draw your knees towards each other. Shift your body so that you're seated in the center of your mat and bring yourself down to your back, coming onto your back body. And as you come onto your back, bring both knees in towards your chest, both knees coming in. Settle both feet to the ground, both knees pointing up to the sky. Extend your arms away from each other, bringing them out into the shape of a T. Press into your feet to slightly lift your hips. Shift your hips to the right and then lower your hips down. Let your knees fall to the left. Head rotate, looking away from your knees to the right. Maybe the left hand takes a hold of your top knee here as we breathe into our reclining twist. Breathe deep, fill the shape with your breath. Releasing your hands, bring your knees, nose, hips back to center. And press here into your feet to find that slight lift and shift of your hips now left before lowering down. Let your knees fall to the right, gaze to the left. Maybe the right hand takes a hold of the left knee here, aiding you into the shape of Jasara Parvriti. Let your breath fill this shape. And on an inhale, bring yourself back towards center. Whole body back towards center. Let's hug both knees inwards. And then lengthen both legs long here. Let your legs come long. Let your hands rest by your side. Let your eyes close. Give fully the weight of your body to the mat beneath you. Let yourself come into a state here where you're no longer working to control your breath. Coming into a space here where your body is able to fully relax and release. Coming into a space where you're able to receive this practice on all levels. Let yourself fall deeply into the relaxation of this Shavasana. Let your awareness here come back to your breath. Begin to become aware of small movements into your fingers and your toes. Your wrists and ankles. As you're ready, take a nice big long stretch of your body, reaching your fingers backwards, toes forward. And then bend at the knees, bring your knees to your chest, wrap your arms around your knees. Give yourself a squeeze. Some movement side to side. And as you're ready, let yourself come to rest easy on one side. Use your top hand to bring your body here up to a seat. And settle here, one hand on your heart, one down, pressing into the ground. Let your eyes close and your gaze once more come inward. Notice here the subtle effects of your practice on your spirit, your breath, your mind, and your body.